Yeehaw! Good morning, party people. We got us an old-fashioned Merger Monday today on SJU. That's right. They're merging with everybody. WarnerMedia, Discovery Plus, AT&T. We'll break it all down. I will drop the dialect. I'm sorry. We also are going to be talking about the new Snake Eyes trailer that dropped. We're going to be answering some fan questions. And Eric went to a Marvel MODOK junket. And by went to, I mean probably Skyped, right?
Yeah, it's Zoom. Yeah, for now. I'm curious in a few months. We'll see what happens. But right now, everyone is from the comfort of their own home.
And so are we. Me, Eric, Danielle. We're your crew for today, and we are uniquely ill-equipped to discuss business, but let's do it anyways. AT&T has announced their deal to spin off WarnerMedia that they acquired back in the old Time Warner deal and merge WarnerMedia with Discovery, which is another kind of, I guess they're a cable company, would you say? Although they do have their own streaming thing. They have all the channels your mom watches.
And we'll get to this. And my wife watches.
There you go. And me. I mean, I'm a big Fieri head, so I've seen all Triple D, Triple G, Guy's Ranch Kitchen, you name it. But anyways, Guy Fieri and the Snyder Cut will now be all under one umbrella. And to just throw a few numbers out there, AT&T is making or will receive an aggregate amount of $43 billion in a combo of cash, debt, and WarnerMedia's retention of debt. Save that one for the accountants. And then the AT&T will unwind its $85 billion acquisition of Time Warner, which just closed 3 years ago. And this deal won't actually go into effect until a year or two from now. So this seems like, I'm no businessman, but this seems like AT&T really screwed up. They kind of lost a lot of money on this, didn't they?
Yeah, it seems like it's a crazy turnaround, right? Just 3 years ago to be like, we're going to buy one of the biggest media companies there are with WarnerMedia, which again, it's easy to forget, like that includes DC Comics and HBO and, CNN right now. Just there's so many different things that includes. And 3 years later, after HBO Max launched, to say, we don't want to run them is pretty interesting.
They bought DirecTV too, like in that same time frame. They're buying everybody.
And now getting rid of them.
Danielle, what am I missing here? I'm no business genius, but is this a good move, or is this long overdue, or is this just cutting their losses? What's going on?
I am also no business person, but I would say, like, I am just as a person who watches things, pretty excited to not have a telecom company in charge of my TV shows. And yeah, no, this doesn't look great. They bought it for a lot, and they're getting not like a third of it back. Ew, that's not not great business. But yeah, it's interesting because we don't really know what CNN's going to be doing. So. And this came together like super quickly. So I don't, details and stuff are still kind of coming in, right?
Yeah, but you do make an interesting overall point about this is good, but in the sheer fact that a telecom company is no longer in charge of creative and content decisions, because I think that does, whether it's separated or not, and I know different people are in charge of different departments, it kind of muddies the waters as for like why you're doing this. Are you doing this to create great things that people love, or are you doing this to sell broadband? And I'm not saying those two things can't coexist, but there's got to be incentive to maybe mess with net neutrality, maybe like hide things behind AT&T paywalls, or they already have a whole hornet's nest as far as HBO deals are all domestic, or they're all like US deals. So that's why HBO Max can't go international, because they've sold the rights to so many things to like Sky TV and all over the place. So it's a big fat mess, and I guess this seems like them just kind of slowly backing out. But this whole thing was John Stankey's brainchild. Stankey was the Mankey who got put in charge. He was voted he became the CEO during the pandemic. He was the guy who had already made all these decisions. Like, he's the same guy who's backing out of this is the guy who got them into this mess. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm missing here.
Yeah, it's weird, right? I'm sure more and more articles will come out kind of parsing it out and why they decided it just wasn't worth their headache and wasn't worth their kind of splitting their focus. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see, HBO Max would have existed with or without AT&T because the streaming wars were upon us. And if you owned all the IP you own, you're going to start a streaming service, Sony aside. So we would have gotten a version of HBO Max. Would we have had the all the movies go to HBO Max same day without AT&T? Maybe not, which pissed off so many creative people involved who partner with Warner Brothers. Yes, I mean, again, they're still going to be part of the streaming wars, WarnerMedia, but it seems like, it probably is beneficial to not have AT&T looking over their shoulder. I mean, we still have Comcast and NBC Universal. That's still left as kind of the telecom merge with actual like entertainment providers. Yeah. But Netflix, Disney, they're in it. They're in the streaming wars, but they don't also have that extra element that I think does potentially, and sometimes we think pretty tangibly, muddy the waters as far as what is your main goal here? What are you selling ultimately? Because at least with Disney, it's like, we are selling the stuff you love, like versus and the phone line, that you might use at the same time.
And you mentioned that they could have burned bridges with creatives after doing this same day streaming release, and it's the WarnerMedia CEO Jason Kilar that's exiting, and the whole company is going to be under the umbrella of the Discovery CEO David Zaslav. So I mean,
the stanky era is over. The Zaslav era begins.
Let the Zaslav era begin. So what does this mean for, if you don't care about the business side of things, what does this mean for you, the person who just likes to watch stuff? Well, you know what WarnerMedia has. I think you already kind of gave a good rundown of that. It's all the HBO Maxes, it's the Criterion, it's the Cartoon Networks, it's all that. But what's Discovery? Discovery is, well, what is Discovery? Where is it here? I just had it. Oh, Discovery Channel, Food Network, HGTV, Animal Planet, and Travel Channel. I was looking on their website. They have some new shows on Discovery Plus called 90 Day Fiancé Universe. So they've finally gone cosmic, and a new show called Crikey, It's a Baby. So I'm really excited to see that. And Hometown, Ben's Workshop. What is the appeal of merging? It seems like there's different tiers of content quality, because this doesn't exactly seem like this is going to move units as far as HBO Max is concerned, but is it?
I think it will. And here again, my anecdotal evidence is this: my wife, living in my house a couple rooms away, my wife probably spends 75% of her viewing on Discovery Plus these days.
Wow!
And that is to say, she is watching, maybe not full attention watching, but she has Flea Market Flip, which I've watched many episodes with her on. The Property Brothers stuff. There's Triple D. There is something very valuable, and because I understand this is not the shows we would ever cover. We're not doing breaking news on, the new Flavortown series,
which is a shame. That is a spinoff.
Which is a shame. Joe Starr would definitely back that. But I think that there's so much value that people overlook, especially if we're in our kind of geek realm, about the comfort food, no pun intended on Food Network, stuff that has hundreds of hours of content, is cheap to produce, and will keep you on that streaming service. Yeah. That's the value of having like a Friends, which is hundreds of episodes of a sitcom, but this stuff, which is very popular and easy to produce, and they can keep it coming, and might be a reason just to have. Right now, Discovery Plus is its own thing. Who knows, will HBO Max and then become one? But I think there's a lot of value in having all that content that is kind of a proven commodity for people just to have on all the time,
Yeah, I don't have Discovery Plus. I'm not going to go out and get Discovery Plus, even for Crikey, It's a Baby. But if it comes with my HBO Max, I'm definitely going to watch Oh, Crikey, It's a Baby. I want to know what that is. Is that, oops, I didn't know I was pregnant, but Aussie style, oops, some friggers. Like, I don't know how that worked. Now, that was terrible. But so I'll definitely watch that. I miss Food Network because I'm a cable cutter, so I don't have cable. And Food Network is definitely comfort TV. I miss my Guy Fieri. I miss my Triple D. Apparently, there's a new show called Flavortown. I've never been to this town.
Wait, what?
I don't even know where it's at on the. Oh, is that what you're saying?
I would know about that. I would know about a show called Flavortown.
Okay, good.
I'm just saying Flavortown is a way of life for Guy Fieri.
It's more of an attitude.
Okay, I got really excited, but yeah, no, I get to go back. We're Flavortown, you're Flavortown. The town has come to us.
No, I'm also
so
a cord cutter, but I purchase guys' shows individually through Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you do. That's awesome.
But that's the thing is, I honestly, like, you probably would like Discovery Plus. I mean, full disclosure, I got a press preview for free for a few months. But once Trish saw it, she's like, oh yeah, great, because we had cut the cord. And so the fact that it was all this Food Network and all this HGTV stuff, these are very popular brands. And so in the streaming era, having them all and having them all under one roof with WarnerMedia is extremely valuable, just like having, DC and Adult Swim all sort of serve different audiences. It's even though it's easy for some people to be like, I don't watch that stuff, plenty of us do, and plenty other people would very easily get like Flea Market Flip. I never thought I'd care about, and then Trish puts it on. I'm like, ooh, can they turn this around? Is it overpriced?
Yeah. Well, now you're kind of talking me out of it, though. I thought this was a good idea, but now it's like, was there a sort of benign neglect or sort of ignorance about being part of AT&T, where they're like, we don't know how to make content. Like, here's a blank check. Go make a Snyder cut. Where in this case, this guy, Zlaslav or whatever his name was, is like, I know what HBO does. We're not spending that much money. We're making more Flea Market Flips. Like, why would we throw a bunch of money at making big blockbuster movies for a streaming service, or doing these interesting experimental HBO shows, when we could just put a camera on sticks and watch someone make fajitas?
I know that's the fear. I mean, and then of course it's a understandable fear because we just don't know. I think the hope is it's more Discovery saying, hey, we've never successfully really gotten into scripted stuff. We've dabbled with it here and there, but we haven't. Here is us merging with the company with all this beloved IP that we can just continue with, and it can all live together in harmony. Like what you're saying is definitely like the worst case scenario. If they're just like, hey, what if we stop making many scripted shows and movies? We'll make some Batmans, but we mostly stick to this stuff. But I think the ideal is it all lives together, because there's a reason that, like, look at Netflix, which is finding a lot of success with quote unquote reality and game shows too.
Mm-hmm.
It is a market everyone wants to be in. So it's like, I understand that people who don't watch this stuff go, why would you want to get involved in that? That's trash. But it's just a tremendously proven commodity. So I think that is the hope for all of us, is not that it's like, oh, they're going to do away with, good scripted content. It's just that, oh, now it's all together and it all serves a purpose to keep you, like, we want people to subscribe for Godzilla versus Kong and the Snyder Cut and Flea Market Flip. Like, it's, all those different things to bring people in, like, just like Nat Geo is part of Disney Plus, and we don't talk about it a lot, but it's there, that it can all just keep people on your service. That's the main thing. Like, come for Bridgerton, stay for the floor is lava. That's, like, I think the idea here in the long term by having them all under one roof.
Fair play. And I do hope that I almost don't notice the effect, except having Food Network things pop up on HBO Max. Like, and I hope it does get consolidated into one service, because I'm not joining another one. Come on. Raise the price $1 and then have all the Discovery Plus things show up. I think that would make me the happiest, but I'm not calling the shots here. Any final thoughts, Danielle or anyone, before we move on?
Make Flavortown the scripted series.
Make Flavortown the scripted series. Thank you.
Man, if Guy stars in it, and he's like, it's like his Space Jam. Like, he travels.
Now you're talking.
Share of Flavortown. That's the follow-up series, isn't it?
Yes.
Guys, they have to change Space Jam 2 to now have like a trip to Flavortown.
Oh, he's now part of the Warner family.
Yes.
Get him on the court.
Yeah, LeBron needs a ride to the game, and he pulls up in the enormous Chevy and says, "Hey, LeBron, I hear you need to go to a basketball court where you're fighting aliens, but first we're going to stop at a bodacious barbecue place, popping up some Hawaiian-style ribs on diners, drive-ins, and dives."
I'm in.
All right. Enough chit chat. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. And you will find more stories like this next one. Snake Eyes coming at you. We got a first look at the G.I. Joe prequel, sequel, spinoff. I don't know. It's about Snake Eyes. It's an origin story. If you ever wondered where Snake Eyes came from, finally a movie for you. It stars Henry Golding. And actually, I jokingly say finally a movie for you. But Eric, apparently this is the movie for you. Tell me why you're excited about this, where Henry Golding says exactly 6 words. I think A$AP Ferg says about 3 times as many on the soundtrack. So go on. Hype me on this movie, because the trailer didn't do it for me.
He's a character who's mute in the comics and in the source material, so 6 words is more than normal. I mean, I totally, completely admit, like, I'd have no idea if this will be a well-received thing to the mainstream. I grew up as a kid, like, all in on G.I. Joe. Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, Star Wars is my first, like, world I was in love with, then Marvel, but then G.I. Joe was, like, number 3. I read those file cards and those comics, and I was into the lore. Do people care now, or can they care again? I don't know. And this was, I wish this trailer was longer. Like, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I like what I'm seeing. Guys, they had the blind master and the hard master in there, but it was.
I'm sorry, the what now?
The hard master. That's his name. I know. He's very difficult, you see. But I was surprised. The movie's opening, in July. It was moved up pretty last minute. We talked about how it flipped with Top Gun on Paramount's schedule. So I was surprised they put out, like, essentially a teaser. I'm sure there's another trailer, but it's just, I think we're going to see a very escalated ad campaign here. So I'm pre-sold on this. But I hope it's cool. It looks cool. But I also, I want some more. But look, Samara Weaving is Scarlet, guys. Come on, that's awesome. I'm in. But that's me. Where do you stand?
I mean, they have to make me fall in love with G.I. Joe theatrically. I mean, it's just been too long since those movies came out, and they were fine. They were entertaining enough. And I had the toys. They were my older brothers, but I thought they were cool. But I feel like they're getting, I don't know if they're getting ahead of themselves, but they're just striking while the iron's cold in doing this origin story for a character that I didn't really care about in the first place. And this trailer, that's fine if the trailer delivered on something insanely over the top action and it looked incredible, but it looks okay. It looked like some pretty good, kind of generic car chases and martial arts fights and stuff like that. I just, short of already loving G.I. Joe, I don't know how this would get me in the theater. Danielle, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm waiting for, we'll see what if they do like a longer trailer or something like that. But it just, like, for me, I'm also the G.I. Joe was the toys. I go back and watch the cartoon, and for me, it does not hold up. So it's not one of those ones where I have like super fond memories. It's not my gem. So yeah, I'm gonna need to see a little bit more before I get super psyched about it. But it's a movie coming to a theater, so maybe that'll be enough to get me psyched. It's a movie, It's
a movie.
A movie at this point is a happy thing.
I will do a little self-promotion and say I did interview Henry Golding about this trailer and kind of some of the things glimpsed in it. I think there's a link in the description, but we did talk again. I know this is like it's like an inside baseball thing I'm even about to say, but it's like how Larry Hama, who was like the writer of the comic book, which was always better than the cartoon, Danielle. He was like an executive producer on this, I guess, and it was one of those things where it's like it's a savvy move to get people like me being like, oh, you got Larry Hama involved, very smart. But I also completely agree, guys. Like, they'll need to sell it beyond me and Joe and people who are like way into this stuff. They'll need to show more, because I agree with you on those other movies. It was like they didn't really deliver. Snake Eyes has always been the most popular character, so I think they're hoping for it to be like a Venom deal where it's like we're kind of like whatever on this movie, and then it just becomes like a huge deal because there is like love for that character. We'll see, but I do think they'll have to show a lot more soon, because I like them fighting on top of the cars. Fighting on top of cars is cool, but it was so quick that I think we need to get more of an idea here.
Well, yeah. What they needed to get me, which is a small subset of G.I. Joe fans, but we're out there, is for somebody to say either pork chop sandwiches or body massage. I only needed to hear any one of those words, and I would have been immediately in.
This is like when they got on the Juggernaut bitch into X-Men 3. Let the meme flow.
Yeah. No, now you talk me out of it. All right. That was lame. It just seems like they're taking themselves real darn seriously for a G.I. Joe movie, and I don't know if I appreciate that tone. Come on. All right, I guess that's all the juice we could squeeze out of Snake Eyes. It was short, and it was just some action shots, really. But I do think, Eric, if you want to do a big breakdown on Hard Master, and what exactly his relationship with Blind Master is, because I can see a really funny raunchy buddy comedy between those two masters.
Oh, I could talk for
Is
days
that your
about-
staff, Hard Master?
I can talk about Hard Master and Blind Master. Wait, and Zartan's involvement in it all. There's a lot, guys. There's a lot.
There's so much. Well, I was gonna go ahead to the live chat and see if there's any questions or comments, but there's literally nothing in the script, so I can only imagine that you've all been in stunned silence. Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff.
There is. Mine's not updating. Oh well. Well, Eric, why don't you ask us some questions if you can see them?
Okay. Let's see. Here, I'm gonna ask Rob Turner's if you could swap any character with Michael Caine, who would it be? I don't know if he means should Michael Caine have played this character or just Michael Caine has himself instead of this character.
It's a fine
movie.
line anyways,
Right.
Between the two of them.
So who should have been Michael Caine in a movie, guys?
Ooh, rock star Michael Caine plays the part that Donnie Wahlberg played. That's my pitch.
Into it?
Oh, in Rockstar, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's the one that ends up leading. Was it Twin Dragon? What was the name?
Yeah,
of the...
something like that. Yeah, like Dual Dragon or something like that. Essentially, Mark Wahlberg Mark becomes the lead in a band that he had always been the lead of a cover band for, and I think you replaced that with Michael Caine.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I think there's something about Michael. it's something about Married, but just with Michael Caine. He's just so irresistible. Everyone's all about him, and you have the whole hair thing.
I'm looking around my room for inspiration. I'll say Halloween, except it's Michael Caine in place of Michael Myers. He snapped. Michael Caine, beloved character actor, snapped and is going to a small Illinois town, and he must be stopped, but he's unstoppable. So that's my
he could
choice.
do horror. I could see that.
Oh yeah, Jaws the Revenge. Hello.
Yeah.
Would you like me to keep reading you?
Yeah, keep going. I have it. I figured it out what was going on, but now I'm in the groove. So you just ask me questions for once.
Let's see. I'll quickly answer Da Baracus's "What is that picture of Eric's right shoulder?" to say it is the Josie and the Pussycats vinyl album from Mondo. That is the picture over my right shoulder. An amazing musical accomplishment. Let's see. Wendigo 2064 Iffy 2064 Iffy asks, with the merging of Discovery and the DC universe on HBO Max, what animal should Batman investigate and who narrates the docuseries?
What animal should Batman? God, I'm gonna make a quick Google for what eats bats.
Well, I'll say cats because he's had a attraction and a antagonistic relationship with a certain cat-based person for a while. So Batman can investigate actual cats, and then it can be narrated by Michael Caine.
Yes,
clearly.
perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Who has a connection to the franchise and a good voice for it.
Weasels eat bats. So Batman v Weasel. Dawn of Justice is my pitch, and I think Jason Momoa, for a little meta layer of commentary, should be narrating. Like, hey, check out that weasel, that's pretty sick. Oh, here comes Batman. Oh.
And Weasel is literally a character in the Suicide Squad coming up. So there you go.
Yeah, I think just like a cute mouse. I think Batman investigates a cute mouse, and I think that it is narrated by Werner Herzog. So we've all given answers here, right? So here, I'll ask this one from James Bunt. I'm going to change it a little, James Bunt, because you said what other 80s cartoon character needs a solo movie, but I'll say 90s too. Let's extend that a little bit. So what 80s or 90s cartoon character should get a live action solo movie in the year 2021, guys?
Well, I guess it's not really a character, but I was just introduced. I don't know how I missed this cartoon growing up called Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Oh
no.
And it's what it sounds like, baby. It's Jurassic Park and some sweet ass Cadillacs. And well, not Jurassic Park. It's like prehistoric times, but also muscle car times. And Steven D'Souza created it.
What?
Yeah, you may recognize him from
Die
Die
Hard.
Hard, Commando,
Yes.
48 Hours. So if you like those movies, but wish they were in a cartoon with dinosaurs and had like, they have this whole thing about like the circle of life, but it's all car metaphors. I think that's something that it's basically if you took Fast and Furious back in times. So let's just do that without Vin Diesel and Tyrese, and let's just go full Cadillacs and dinosaurs. That's my pick.
I think you do Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles, but it's a thinker. You just find out how he became, why does he love the pizza so much? And you find out like it's dealing with having to be a child soldier really messes him up.
Oh gosh.
So no, I just think you go real dark and you go against type.
I'm into it.
It's just called Mike.
Michael.
It's just Michael.
Michael Beginnings. I'll say, first of all, I can't remember if I said Fiona Gilbert asked me the question about the album. So thank you, Fiona. And then my answer to this question is Turbo Teen, which if you are not familiar with Turbo Teen, although there was a very funny robot chicken sketch about it. Turbo Teen was a very short-lived animated series in the 80s, which I realized in retrospect introduced me to body horror. Because what the hell were they thinking when they drinking or smoking when they made it? Because it's about a teenage kid who will transform into a car, and so it's like his face turns into the grill and his hands turn into the tire, and it is messed up when you actually watch it, which the Robot Chicken sketch had some fun with how messed up it can be. So yeah, I want to see Turbo Teen done as the body horror movie. It really was clearly meant to be.
The Cars prequel that never was.
Right. This is the origin. Like he was the first of the Cars universe. So Disney, get on that. But release it as like an FX branded adult thing. And yeah, we can have some fun with it.
All right, let's do one more question, then we'll do the MODOK junket.
Let's see. Let's see. Benzatin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who would you like to host or host again SNL? Always a reaction when the SNL hosts are announced.
I mean, I know I much like Grimes, I also had a panic attack while Elon Musk was hosting, so not him. That was just very uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Other than the wiki shout out in the middle of it, but everything else.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get that far. I made it like 2 or 3 sketches in before I just had to cartwheel out of the room out of sheer secondhand embarrassment. But who'd be good? Who's funny these days? I want John Mulaney now. I want John Mulaney to come back right now. I think now's the time.
I mean, he'll come back at some point. Maybe not right now.
I think that would be a hot show. I want to check in on him, see how he's doing. I'm thinking a new persona, more of like an Andrew Dice Clay Mulaney, if he's wearing like a leather jacket, smoking a cigarette on the other side of his head. I think that would be. I think now more than ever, we need a Mulaney SNL.
What cast member, like what former cast member who should come back to those? Because I think of someone like Rachel Dratch or somebody who like maybe like a Hall of Famer level cast member, but like would be fun if they came back to host.
I mean, I think Will Forte is like still the funniest person of all time. I know he's come back
that would be great.
once, but he should do it again.
Yeah, Sudeikis would be great. Yeah.
That'd be a great one. And then also the people who like, I know this has happened a couple times where people who kind of unceremoniously were let go came back to host, like even like, Ben Stiller and Chris Rock who were, but Jenny Slate would be a good one, because it's like she didn't have a great experience there and accidentally cursed on air. But she's a really funny person. So Slate for SNL. There you go.
You have a pick, Danielle?
I did. I said Jason Sudeikis.
Oh, you did? Sudeikis. Okay, yeah.
You gotta feel like he's gonna come by if they can time it with season 2 of Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah.
Now that he actually has something to promote, I'm sure. There's no way he doesn't do that.
Yeah. And I'll say a earnest person who like I thought did a surprisingly good job and I wouldn't mind seeing again host was actually Taylor Swift when she hosted, was like way more natural at sketch comedy than I ever would have expected. I think she's only returned as a musical guest since, but I was kind of surprised because I thought she might start Timberlaking it. Maybe she just, even though she looked good on camera, didn't want to do it again. But if she wanted to host again, I would welcome it because she was funny the first time she did it.
There you go.
And Lil Rel, that's my last one because that's
Rel, yeah.
Lil Rel, yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Well, I'm sure all of those would be moderately funny. So we now move on to something that we know is going to be good, MODOK. Eric, why don't you set up this junket for us?
Yeah, by the way, I'll say it is good. I really like it. It debuts on Friday. I've seen all the episodes, and I endorse MODOK. Yeah, so it's it's a stop motion show, and it definitely it gets gory and weird, and I appreciate that. And I talked to Patton Oswalt, and has a really fun cast. Amy Garcia is from Lucifer, voices his wife. Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine voices his daughter. I didn't get to talk to Ben Schwartz, who plays his son, but it's a fun family unit. And we spoke about the oddity and lovability of MODOK and kind of getting weird with Marvel.
All right, let's check that out. We'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
MODOK! And do you know what MODOK stands for?
Mental organism designed only
For killing. For killing.
MODOK is a character I love, and a lot of people love him once they discover him. What is the core appeal about him? He is obviously very bizarre looking, but what makes him so intriguing?
I mean, I think the thing that is so lovable about him is he is just as angry and jealous of the villains in the Marvel Universe as he is of the heroes. He thinks, I am an 8th dimensional intellect. I should be in the top tier. Why am I in the bottom tier with all these losers? So that level of like resentment and jealousy and pettiness it feels very, very human.
I feel like even though he wants to take over the world, he just cannot pull it together. And to me, there's something very endearing about someone who is an egomaniac, but has the smallest hands ever, smallest legs, floats around. And I feel like there's something so endearing about someone who is so behind the 8 ball, but really believes in his core that he can be CEO of world destruction.
Where does he go at night? Nobody knows. Oh, no one took the cans out?
How early, as you were talking about this show, did you guys decide about that juxtaposition between MODOK the supervillain and MODOK the family man?
Oh, we wanted that from the very get-go. We wanted that idea that he is thinking, unlike these other supervillains who just all they can do is conquer the world. That's what their focus is. I'm going to conquer the world and have a family outside of it. I will have both. I will do what no other supervillain has done. Choices and sacrifice are an insult to an intellect like MODOK. That's how we thought of it.
If you look at MODOK and you're like, okay, well, I understand how he functions in this comic book, but where does he go when he leaves this Captain America panel? And does he have a home life? Like, he has to go somewhere. So it kind of led us to ask these questions, regarding that with the family. And then the same thing, like, okay, every week Aim's trying to take over the world. Well, what does it take to run that? Like have a functioning evil organization. And there's all this bureaucracy in place for that to work. And what a headache that must be for MODOK.
Dad, one of your dumbasses spilled acid all over my boyfriend.
Come on, guys, acid is expensive.
Your character, of course, is MODOK's daughter, and she has her dad's good looks. When was the first time you got to see what she would look like, and were you pretty amused to see that she was a chip off the old block?
I got to see like a mock-up of her, I think pretty early on in the recording process. Jordan definitely gave me an idea of what she was going to look like, that she was going to look like him, but she was still going to have her own take on the suit, and that she's, still like a really cool teenager. So when I saw the drawing of her, I was just like, oh, it was so much better than anything I could have imagined.
Yeah, she has a lot of self-confidence. It's clearly being a MODOK, as it were, is not impairing her social life.
Yeah, because I think like the really obvious take is that she would be ashamed and, can't believe her dad is a supervillain. And like, so to have this sort of flip take of like, oh yeah, she's like totally proud that she is a supervillain's daughter, completely plans on going into the family business.
We have to tell the kids about us.
Kids, she's lost her mind. You have to stop her.
MODOK, what are you telling the kids?
I'm comforting them.
On one hand, Jody is married to freaking MODOK, but on the other hand, this is like a pretty real deal look at this marriage on the rocks. So is it fun for you to get to combine these two very different elements?
Yes, I think that Jordan and Patton did a great job at grounding these three-dimensional characters in this absurd, galactic, larger-than-life, chaotic world. And we've never seen a supervillain take out the garbage. We've never seen a supervillain have a midlife crisis. We've never seen a supervillain being treated like a washed up celebrity. And we've definitely never seen, I think, or rarely see a supervillain completely in love and then build a time portal to take the love of his life back to their first date, right?
Time to change the world by bringing it to its knees. Attack! The future is MODOK!
Clearly, we've seen a lot of different projects come from Marvel in recent years. MODOK has its own vibe. So how would you describe this take on the universe that this show brings?
This is more of the what happens during the embarrassing downtime. What happens when you're not seeing the massive heroic things going on, or if you're seeing massive things going on, they're tied to something, again, very petty, very clumsy, very jealous, which I think, again, is very, very real. There are moments in history that, aren't that heroic, and that's what we wanted to look at.
This is not sexy Iron Man saving the day. This is like Iron Man giving MODOK grief, which is so fun because I think it's so great to see. Like you said, Marvel is so prolific, and I think it's just so fun to see a fresh POV from a world that we know and love.
Pat and I, we love these characters, and we understand that millions of people love these characters, and these things mean a lot to a lot of people, and we wanted to respect that, and we didn't want to break any of the toys. We'll bend them. MODOK's very flexible, and I feel like we were able to do that, but still never betray who these people are and what makes them special, and who they are in the comics, who they are in the movies.
You are hereby relieved of your status as CPA Supreme and as a living person.
I still need to do your personal taxes. I'm sorry. I thought this coffee was for everyone.